Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me for a new edition of Business Africa, our final show of 2024. Today we focus on alternative solutions to tackle pressing challenges, recycling, sustainable food production, and breaking free from the debt trap. Africa's resilience remains unshaken, as you'll see in the remarkable construction boom taking place in East Africa. But first, let's dive in today's top stories. Recycling waste into eco-friendly paving stones for roads is an innovative environmental solution that's gaining traction across Africa, and it's now making its mark in Bamako.
It's to protect the environment. Plastics are non-biodegradable. It's an activity that not only helps to keep the town clean, but also to combat environmental pollution.
In Cameroon, the coffee and cocoa sectors are seeing a growing effort to maximize the potential of cash crops, contributing to more sustainable production.
Our major challenge is promoting coffee for local consumption, because we tend to export all our production.
How can we produce and consume locally while alleviating the impact of rising food prices? An association in the Central African Republic is actively seeking solutions to this pressing challenge.
We do not produce, but we support local producers. We want Central Africans to consume what is produced here at home.
We begin today's report in Bamako, the capital of Mali. In a country increasingly threatened by terrorism, the people have shown remarkable initiative and entrepreneurial spirit. Take, for instance, a young entrepreneur who has proven that waste can be transformed into something valuable. His solution? Turning waste into eco-friendly paving stones to pave some of Bamako's roads. The result promises not only a new aesthetic for the city, but also unprecedented durability for its urban infrastructure. Sayun Kulma, our correspondent in Mali, brings us the story. In the middle of the day, an initiative comes to life in a quiet corner of Bamako, the Malian capital. Sheikh and his loyal assistant set about collecting plastic waste in a way that transcends appearances. Behind the seemingly simple act lies a crucial mission to promote environmental sustainability. Our cameras followed them on a collection day in Moribabugu, a district on the outskirts of Bamako. For this 23-year-old, this initiative embodies eco-responsibility.
It's to protect the environment. Plastics are non-biodegradable. It's an activity that not only helps to keep the town clean, but also to combat environmental pollution. Waste is gold. You can do a lot with waste, and it can be recycled.
Once the waste has been collected, the conversion phase takes place in the workshop. The recovered plastics are carefully sorted and then fed into the oven. The heat in the oven does the rest. The plastic melts, giving new life to what was once simple waste. This melted material is then poured into molds, creating ecological paving stones, ready to contribute to people's daily lives and improve the environment. In addition to its environmental impact, this initiative enables the young entrepreneur to generate 20,000 CFA francs a day.
We can do 2 square meters a day. With these 2 square meters, we can earn 20,000 francs. That's not bad. We're just getting by. The day we have the equipment, we need to produce large quantities, and why not generate a turnover of millions per day?
Beyond transforming plastic waste into paving stones, this initiative opens up new prospects. For Ibrahim, aged 19, this recycling project is much more than a simple environmental initiative. It represents a real opportunity for the future.
This is an eco-responsible project. We firmly believe in the future of what recycling represents. We are getting involved in the hope of becoming self-sufficient and developing ourselves independently. My involvement is also motivated by the fact that I can earn 3,000 francs a day, an amount that meets some of our needs.
With this in mind, the young entrepreneur highlights another innovative aspect of his initiative. The paving stones they produce have unique characteristics compared to those made from cement.
It's the finished product. These paving stones can last over 100 years with us. They can be used for both housing and roads. They are hard-wearing and highly effective, unlike other paving stones made from cement.
These paving stones will not be confined to the workshop. They now embellish the streets of Bamako, offering a new aesthetic and durability to the urban infrastructure. We visited Badalabougou Sima, where this 125-metre-long, 8-metre-wide road has been paved with cobblestones designed by Sheikh Koulibaly.
The whole road is cobbled right to the bottom. You can even see down below how it was done. Can you see? The 10-ton tippers drive over it without any problem. According to the engineer, it has a lifespan over 40 to 50 years. We'd also like to thank Sheikh for his contribution. These paving stones were made using very little sand, and the rest is plastic.
And Sheikh Koulibaly is dreaming big. His ambition is to turn this project into a thriving business in the heart of Bamako to combat pollution and reduce the risk of illness linked to this waste, a dream that is already coming true thanks to this promising initiative.
My biggest dream is to have the necessary equipment to increase production and satisfy our customers. I hope to have the equipment I need in the near future because waste is causing so much damage in our country, Mali. I thought it was time to find a solution to recycle this waste.
According to the Bamako Regional Development Agency, the Malian capital produces an average of 2,000 tons of waste daily. It ranks 16th out of the 25 most polluted cities in the world. The government is struggling to finance these growing needs. Still, it has announced plans to build 2 new modern landfill sites at Nubabugu and Mantugula to enable waste to be treated and sorted. Since the beginning of the month and for the past year, South Africa has held the prestigious role of chairing the G20, the group representing 75% of global trade. As the first African nation to take on this responsibility, Pretoria is focused on 2 key themes: inclusive economic growth and sustainable development. The South African government has outlined the overarching theme of its mandate as solidarity, equality and sustainability. This is more than just rhetoric. Pretoria has already proposed the creation of a capital expenditure committee aimed at reviewing the G20's current debt restructuring framework. In addition, South African Sherpas are advocating for a comprehensive review of climate change funding. In Africa, the production and trade of raw materials are the first to suffer from the impacts of climate change. In Cameroon, no fewer than 60,000 cocoa and coffee farmers will benefit from new subsidies. The Cameroonian government has announced a financial allocation of 10.55 billion CFA francs to producers for the 2024-2025 agricultural season. These subsidies will be distributed through the Guichet Producteur, launched in 2021 to support the financing of inputs and equipment for farmers. This announcement comes at a time when international cocoa prices remain volatile following several months of supply shortages. As for coffee, in November, its price reached a 50-year high due to drought conditions in Brazil. The processing of raw materials is becoming a top priority in many countries across the continent. Industrialization aimed at producing goods for local consumption is gaining momentum and is even becoming a key objective for authorities and stakeholders in various sectors. The coffee and cocoa industries are no exception. This is what our correspondent in Yaoundé, Abubakar Sidik Munchiri, discovered during a recent coffee and cocoa festival. Take a look. Exhibition stands display a variety of products from local cocoa and coffee processing. Thousands of visitors come every day, some discovering the prowess of local manufacturers in the coffee and cocoa sector for the first time. We're here on the esplanade of the town hall in Yaoundé, the capital of Cameroon, for the Cocoa and Coffee Festival.
Très impressionné.
I'm quite impressed because Cameroonians have a technology completely under the radar. There are original products here that could even be exported to Europe. We discovered earlier that you can make wine as well as massage oil both using cocoa. That's something I didn't know about, for example. If I didn't come here, I wouldn't know about it. I'm now headed towards pharmaceutical products, and we certainly already have products here that can help with these problems.
Suspended due to COVID-19, the biggest annual attraction and promotional event for Cameroonian coffee and cocoa is back, with one special feature. This is the first edition to combine the former Cameroon Cocoa and Coffee festivals.
We're trying to inform and educate Cameroonians that it's important to consume local products for their added value so that the local producers can make more money. Sometimes these products are better in terms of quality.
For this new edition, the emphasis is on the promotion of Cameroonian cocoa and coffee mainly, and also more broadly, African coffee. This involves training all the players in these sectors to maximize the production of these cash crops.
Our major challenge is promoting coffee for local consumption because we tend to export all our production.
Some participants and exhibitors come from other producing countries such as Côte d'Ivoire, another country actively committed like Cameroon to industrialization and promoting local consumption as important economic levers. This is despite a particular global context marked by falling production due to climate change, aging fields and workforce, growing demand for raw materials by the local industry, and rising prices on the world market.
The issue of Made in Africa or the processing of our products is a crucial one that our governments and development agencies have been tackling for several years. Côte d'Ivoire is the world's leading producer of cocoa and Africa's third largest producer of coffee. So beyond the productivity aspect, we have realized that we need to master the question of added value, capture the maximum revenue for our national players.
However, how can the local processing and consumption industry succeed if the dual equation of sufficient and high-quality production with guaranteed profitability for all players still needs to be resolved? This key issue, which is of enormous importance, concerns every link in the Cameroonian industry.
Transformation encourages savings on equipment and materials, which at first may be imported, but in Cameroon we should be able to manufacture them.
Cameroon aims to increase national cocoa production to 640,000 tons by 2030 and coffee production to around 160,000 tons. There were 262,112 tons of cocoa and just over 38,000 tons of coffee in the 2022-2023 season. To achieve this, a producer window of the Cocoa and Coffee Sector Development Fund has been launched in 2021. It plans to inject 50 billion CFA francs into these sectors over 5 years. And that's not all. Several projects are currently being implemented in the field, such as the New Generation project led by a private partner and aimed at solving the thorny problem of aging land and farmers' stock.
We benefited from the support of the Interprofessional Cocoa and Coffee Council, backed by the government. to rejuvenate the current stock of producers.
Le stock de producteurs actuels.
We managed to convince our young people who are in town to come back to the village to benefit each year from 1 hectare of cocoa, and at the end of 3 years, you have 3 hectares of cocoa in production. And with 3 hectares now in production, you know the price. They have all the equipment they need for production. The only condition is that the young people must have 3 hectares of land.
While Cameroon's cocoa farmers have been the big winners of this year's price boom, the time has come to prepare for a less bright future. Capitalizing, preparing for the future, and buying a new plot or equipment are all priorities today to prepare for tomorrow. The choices made by several African countries to give a real boost to the coffee and cocoa sectors are part of this phase, so that all the players in the industry benefit from them in the long term. Are you seeking to boost your business in Africa and Europe? Increase your visibility with Business Frequency thanks to our network of national television channels in more than 40 countries. Every week, more than 100 broadcasts across Africa, the Indian Ocean and Europe. Don't miss this unique opportunity. Contact us now and put your brand into the spotlight.
Welcome back to the second part of our show. In Ghana, the new president is about to confront some tough economic realities. According to provisional results, the country's electoral commission has declared former president and opposition leader John Dramani Mahama the winner of the presidential election with 56.55% of the vote. Mahama has vowed to bring a new beginning, a new direction to Ghana. But his presidency will begin at a time when the country faces a deeply troubled economy, one marked by soaring inflation, a weakening currency, and skyrocketing living costs. On top of this, Mahama will need to find new sources of income to tackle the growing debt burden. Ghana is currently tied to a $3 billion IMF bailout package, and the pressure is mounting. Despite the mounting debt across the continent, investors have remained undeterred in recent months, especially in the construction sector. According to newly published figures from Afreximbank's latest survey, East Africa is on the verge of a construction boom. In this region, investments in large-scale projects have surged to $40.1 billion, accounting for 25% of the continent's total. Tanzania stands out as one of the most dynamic countries in the region, with infrastructure growth projected to rise by 7% annually over the next decade. This growth is driven by substantial investments in the standard gauge railway, residential and port developments, as well as the mining and energy sectors. What if African debt management could leverage alternative financial solutions? This is an approach the World Bank is now exploring. The International Financial Institution has announced a pioneering debt for development program in Côte d'Ivoire. In practical terms, the initiative will involve swapping 400 million euros of expensive commercial debt due to mature over the next 5 years. Through its guarantee platform, the World Bank will buy back these debts, freeing up 330 million euros in additional budgetary resources for Côte d'Ivoire over the next 5 years. These funds will be invested in the country's education sector. This marks the first time the World Bank Group has supported such an initiative. Since the start of the war in Ukraine, Africa has been under increasing pressure from rising agricultural commodity prices. In the Central African Republic, wheat imports can cost up to 17 billion CFA francs per year. One solution gaining traction is substituting a significant portion of wheat in bread and other food products with locally grown maize or bean flour, helping to save money. But the key challenge remains: how can local production be scaled up to meet demand and encourage local consumption? Our correspondent in Bangui, Bertrand Medagay, explored this question by visiting the Yeti Kodro Association, which promotes the use of local Central African products. Take a look.
Helped by her daughter, this street food hawker has just fried Côte, galettes made from peas. It's a local product fancied by Central Africans of all ages.
These kose are made with peas that we buy on the market. It costs only 25 CFA francs and is bought by everyone, whether young or old, school children and workers alike.
Consistent and filling, Côte serves as a morning sub-base. It's very popular among both national and expatriate consumers. Although peas are not grown in the Central African Republic, beans are widely available in the country. It is found on the menu of many households and in school canteens in the Central African Republic.
Let's turn on the fire to prepare the rice and beans. Soon the students will finish school and they'll be hungry.
Golden and a delectable smell rising from the koses, they are appreciated for the energy they provide and are as irresistible to school children as it is to the passers-by, whether on foot or by car.
The first thing that attracts you is their delectable smell when you pass by. Secondly, they're nutritious and cheap. Just 2 or 3 of them with a drink, it's yummy and filling. It gives you all the strength you need to get through the day.
Kose are among the products marked by the Yeti Kodro Association, meaning things from the country. It is appreciated in the same way as the other products promoted by the association.
Here in this package, there are bean leaves. You won't easily find them in the supermarkets. This is millet flour made by us in perfect sanitary conditions.
The association's first initiatives were launched in 2016 in Bangui, the capital. It has since expanded its activities to 2 other cities in the country. Since the start of the war in Ukraine and the difficulties encountered throughout Africa in obtaining supplies of Ukrainian wheat, mobilization is the mantra to mitigate the situation.
We do not produce, but we support local producers. We want Central Africans to consume what is produced here at home.
In the Central African Republic, the prices of essential commodities such as flour, oil and sugar, to name but a few, are already rising.
For several weeks now, we have been witnessing a surge in the prices of essential commodities. And these are the goods that are imported, unfortunately.
The war between Russia and Ukraine is penalizing us. The bag of flour that we used to buy from the wholesaler at 30,000 CFA francs has become 40,000 CFA francs. We're forced to sell 1 kilo of flour, which used to sell for 750 CFA francs, at a retail price of 1,000 CFA francs. That's a lot.
All vendors' eyes are on the Central African Republic authorities. They are especially concerned about the situation in the country, which is known for its alliance with Moscow.
The Prime Minister, head of government, has set up an interministerial committee to propose actions that could prevent our country from suffocating. The specific action aimed by the Ministry of Trade and Industry is about reducing our dependence on imports. To this end, we are encouraging and directing our investors towards local products processing in collaboration with energy, agriculture and livestock ministries.
Yeti Kodro does not limit itself to local food production, as it is highly involved in the economic development of the country. In 2021, it was awarded the Orange Prize for Social Entrepreneurship in Africa and Middle East, designed to encourage innovative associations. And one of its initiatives has been to set up a workshop called Kaina, in which craftspeople and also the youth with some sewing skills can come and work on machines made available to them, exchange ideas, and seek advice from other experienced sewers.
The name Kaina means to share. It is the Kaba dialect of the Central African Republic. Share what? Sharing the experience between dressmakers. Right now, we have 6 young girls working from Monday to Friday.
I did not come to Yeti Kodro as a sewer, but as a marketing agent. Within Kaina, I gradually became interested in sewing by learning to knit from my sisters in the Kaina workshop.
A wide-scale presence in Bangui and the sub-prefectures of Paoa in the northwest and Buea in the centre-east of the Central African Republic, Yeti Kodro is living proof that despite economic and food crises, such as the one caused by the war in Ukraine, solutions can still be found through initiatives and the will to return to traditional local products.
That's it for today. Business Africa is over. I'll see you next week, same time, same channel for Initiative Africa, a special edition featuring highlights from some of our most memorable guests and moments from this year's shows. Don't miss it. In the meantime, you can catch up on all our episodes on our website, africaonair.com, and follow us across our social media channels. Feel free to share, like, and comment using the hashtag Business Africa. Enjoy the holiday season, take care, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.